A very warm welcome to all of you in this lecture on ceramic matrix composites processing. As you are well aware that we are discussing the module number 6 in our course on processing of non-metals. We have seen different types of materials and the processing techniques for different types of materials which have non-metallic properties. Now we are discussing an important aspect of materials which are basically used for high temperature applications, that is ceramics and ceramic matrix composites. So, the basic aspects of ceramics we have already covered in a previous module, and in this particular module our focus has been on ceramic matrix composite. If you remember, in the previous lectures we have seen that what is the basic philosophy behind developing the ceramic matrix composites, because most of the applications are being met by the monolithic ceramics also. So, why do we need to reinforce the monolithic ceramics with different types of reinforcements in order to get the ceramic matrix composites that we have already seen in our previous lectures in this particular module only. We have also compared the metals and the ceramics, that metals which important properties they possess and ceramics what are their specific properties which make them applicable in certain applications. And then we have seen that there are different types of toughening mechanisms in ceramic matrix composites. Our focus has been on the basic aspects or the fundamental aspects of ceramic matrix composites, and also we have seen mechanical properties of the ceramic matrix composites. So, as our focus is on the processing aspects in this particular course, that is processing of non-metals, we have seen some of the important processing techniques which are used for processing of ceramic matrix composites. We have seen the powder processing technique, and in the previous lecture we have seen an important technique which is used, in which vapors or the gaseous reactants are used to process the matrix material, and a preform is used as the reinforcement, and the process was called as CVI process, that is chemical vapor infiltration. So, CVI process, the details we have seen, that how the process actually takes place, where the preform is kept, what is the basic construction detail of the reactor that we have seen in that lecture, and also we have seen a modified CVI process in which the gaseous reactants are forced through the preform and a temperature gradient is established, and the preform basically has a top layer and a bottom layer. Basically the total preform can be divided into hypothetically into two zones. One is a heated zone which is close to the heating chamber, and then there is a cold zone which is away from the heating chamber, and we have seen that the reaction or the deposition of the solid matrix takes place near to the heating chamber, and then this particular deposition travels from top to the bottom. Why? Because the thermal conductivity increases of the preform and the porosity decreases. The porosity decreases, it means that the deposition is taking place in the vacant spaces all around the reinforcement. So, basically we have seen that there is a modified CVI process which is used for processing of ceramic matrix composites, in which we have a forced flow of the gaseous reactants and a temperature gradient is established. Two important points to note in the context of the preform is the thermal conductivity of the preform and the temperature gradient in the preform, as well as the change in the porosity of the preform. So, that was the end of our previous lecture of CVI, and today we are going to see certain other processing techniques which are used for processing of ceramic matrix composites. So, basically the idea of giving this introduction was that in case of ceramic matrix composite, our main aim is to combine the two things together. Now, what are these two things or these two constituents that make up the ceramic matrix composites that we have already seen in previous lectures, but sometimes there is an audience which is new and is only interested in certain important lecture only. So, basically to give you an overview of a ceramic matrix composite, we can classify a composite material on the basis of the matrix, and we can have a polymer matrix composite, we can have a metal matrix composite, and we can have a ceramic matrix composite, and this particular module is focused on ceramic matrix composite. So from the name itself we can say that the matrix material here is a ceramic material. So basically we have a matrix which is ceramic, and we have a reinforcement which can be any type of a fiber. So it can also be made up of ceramic fibers. The reinforcement can also be a ceramic, the matrix can also be a ceramic, and we will get a composite of a reinforcement and the matrix, which in this particular case would be a ceramic matrix composite. So in CVI process we have seen in previous lecture that how the reinforcement and the matrix are combined together to get a composite material, specifically the ceramic matrix composite material. And today we will see few important techniques like slurry impregnation and liquid infiltration. Two important processes we are going to study today. With the help of diagrams we will try to understand that how the two things, the matrix and the reinforcement, are combined together to get a composite material. So our focus today would be the liquid infiltration and the slurry impregnation. If you remember, we have seen two important techniques in our previous lectures, that is the powder processing and the chemical vapor infiltration. So in both the processes you see the reinforcement was in the solid form only. In powder processing the reinforcement was solid powder. In case of CVI the reinforcement was in the form of a fibrous preform or a substrate. But today we will see that the reinforcement in today's case would also be a solid, but the matrix would be infiltrated, which means that it would be in a liquid form, and that is the difference between the processes that we are going to see today and the processes which we have already covered in our previous lectures, that is the CVI process and the powder processing. So in powder processing the reinforcement and the matrix both were solid, they were powders. In CVI process the reinforcement was solid in the form of a preform, and the gaseous reactants were passed through the preform, and the solid matrix was deposited because of the reaction taking place. As a reaction product it was deposited on the fibers. We have also seen that how the diameter of the fiber increases when the gaseous reactants pass through the preform. And in today's lecture our focus is on the infiltration of the liquid. So the matrix would be in the form of a liquid, and this matrix would go and fill the preform, and finally we will get a composite material in which we have the reinforcement and the matrix. The matrix is in this case infiltrating into the fiber preform. So we will see two important processes today. One is the slurry impregnation and another one is the liquid infiltration, as I have already told in the beginning of today's lecture. So with this particular introduction, let's now start our discussion on the processing aspects of ceramic matrix composites. So the first process is on your screen, that is slurry impregnation. So we have seen that we can combine the matrix and the reinforcement together to get a composite material. So in today's lecture we will try to first understand the basic aspects of slurry impregnation, and then we will try to understand the basic process, that how the process takes place and how a composite is got, or a composite is fabricated, or a composite is processed. Now let us see the fundamental aspects of slurry impregnation technique for processing of ceramic matrix composites. So on your screen we see the introduction of slurry impregnation. In this process, impregnation of the reinforcing phase takes place in a tank containing the liquid slurry. So basically two important words in this sentence you can see, reinforcement and the matrix. These two things we have to combine together to get a composite material. So in this process the impregnation of the reinforcing phase. So reinforcing phase in this particular case would also be a solid. It can be a layer of solid wires, or it can be a network of solid wires which would be impregnated through a liquid. So a slurry containing the matrix is there in a tank, and this particular network of fibers or an array of fibers pass through the slurry tank and gets impregnated. So the matrix would be deposited all around the fibers. So in first important point, in this process impregnation of the reinforcing phase, and I have taken the example of the fibers. So reinforcing phase can be fibers. So fibers takes place in a tank containing the liquid slurry. So there is a tank which contains the slurry. What are the constituents of the slurry? That we are going to see now, and this slurry contains the matrix phase. So the reinforcement is coming, and in the resin it is getting dipped and it is taking the matrix phase from the liquid slurry that is present in the resin tank. So basically the slurry typically consists of the following. So we can see it can be a matrix, the three important ingredients of the slurry would be matrix powder, liquid carrier and an organic binder. So the most important part or the most important ingredient is the part number A, that is matrix powder. So basically we have to combine the reinforcing phase with the matrix powder and then we have to generate a composite material. But the other two things, that is the liquid carrier and an organic binder, are also required and they have got specific purposes. So basically there are three important things in the liquid slurry, and these are the matrix powder, the liquid carrier and an organic binder, which would later on be removed during the process. So binder and carrier would be removed and only the matrix powder and the reinforcing phase would be combined together to get a ceramic matrix composite. If you remember, in one of our previous modules on polymer matrix composite, we have seen a process which was called as resin transfer molding, and we have seen a process which is called as filament winding. So in filament winding, if you remember, the fibers are coming and they are getting impregnated in the resin tank. So the polymer is kept in the resin tank and the fibers are coming from the fiber spool and they are getting wet or impregnated in the resin tank. So in this filament winding process, this process in case of ceramic matrix composites is quite similar to the filament winding process that we have seen. And the second process that I have told in the very beginning today, that is the liquid infiltration, is quite similar to the other process I have just named for polymer matrix composite, that is the resin transfer molding. So basic mechanism is to combine the resin and the reinforcement together. So basically today's two processes that we are going to discuss, that is process number 1 that we are seeing is slurry impregnation. Process number 2 that we are going to study today is liquid infiltration. So process number 1 in today's class, that is slurry impregnation, is quite similar to the filament winding process, in which the fibers are coming and getting wet inside the resin tank. And the process number 2, that is liquid infiltration, that we are going to study in the subsequent slide, is similar to the resin transfer molding. So basically the mechanism in all the processes that we are using for processing of non-metals is same, specifically when we talk about the composite materials, because in composites our main aim is to combine the reinforcing and the matrix phase together, and the basic methodology can be same, the materials can be different. So it is important to understand that what are the important tools and techniques which are used for combining the two phases together. So here we can see that we have a reinforcing phase which we are impregnating with a liquid slurry. The slurry is contained in a tank, and when this will get impregnated, we will have a matrix powder all around the reinforcing phase, and there are subsequent other steps which have to be followed in order to get a ceramic matrix composite. But at this point it was important because there can be a confusion that the same thing is happening in case of polymer matrix composites also in filament winding. So we should try to distinguish the two things together, although the process mechanism is same, but there is a difference in the type of materials and the type of processing conditions that are subjected to when the process is taking place. Various parameters, as I have already told, are different in the processes that are used for polymer composites and the processes that are used for ceramic matrix composites. So the various parameters such as the particle size distribution, because the matrix powder is present inside the slurry. So what is the size or the distribution of the size? There can be some particles which can be larger in size, there can be some particles which are smaller in size. So the particle size distribution is one parameter. Binder type and amount, as we have seen that there are three important ingredients in the slurry. So the binder type and amount is also important. What should be the type of the binder? What should be the amount of the binder in the slurry? Then the powder content, the amount of powder that we have to put inside the slurry is also important. Carrier medium, the carrier medium that we are using in the slurry, that is also important. All these have an effect on the part quality. Part quality basically is the ceramic matrix composite part that we are producing. That is the quality of that part that we are producing using the slurry impregnation process. So the quality of that part depends upon all these parameters. Now let me just revise, because there are two things that we are combining together. So there is not much that we are controlling on the reinforcing side, because the reinforcement is coming and it is getting impregnated inside the slurry. So the slurry is an important part that we can manipulate, and what important things can be manipulated, what important things can be controlled, that is given in point number 1, that we can control the particle size distribution, we can control the binder type and amount, we can control the powder content, and we can control the carrier medium. So all these things we can control, and when we can control all these things, we can control the quality of the part that we are manufacturing. So it is important, depending upon the specific requirements for which we are making the ceramic matrix composites, we have to choose all these important points very carefully. So all these important operating conditions have to be chosen very carefully, or the operating variables have to be chosen very carefully. So thorough impregnation is obtained. So this is one important guideline, that is thorough impregnation is obtained when the size of the matrix. So size of the matrix, because the matrix in this case is in the form of the powder, so the size of the matrix is the size of the matrix powder. So the thorough impregnation is obtained when the size of the matrix powder is smaller than the fiber diameter. So this has been established as one of the important points and is available in the literature, which in turn results in reducing porosity. So the important point to note here is that the size of the matrix powder should be smaller than the fiber diameter. So this is important, and this results in reducing the porosity. Basically we want, in certain cases we require the porosity in CMC products, but in many cases we may not be requiring the porosity, and we want to control the porosity, we want to have a very dense product. So therefore sometimes when we have to control the porosity, we can very easily follow this guideline. So I am again reading the guideline for you. The guideline is that thorough impregnation is obtained when the size of the matrix powder is smaller than the fiber diameter. So we, in this case, the reinforcement that we are using is in the form of fibers, and this results in reducing the porosity. So this is a specific case in which the reinforcement is in the form of the long fibers, and the size of the particle or the matrix powder should be smaller than the diameter of the fiber. So this is the important guideline which has to be kept in mind. Next important point, that is infiltration into the fiber preform can be improved by adding some wetting agents. So in many cases certain wetting agents may be used so that the infiltration or the impregnation is better. So in this particular case we can use different types of wetting agents. After infiltration, the liquid carrier is allowed to evaporate. So as I have already told, there is a carrier, there is a binder, and there is a matrix powder. So matrix powder finally has to form the matrix phase in the ceramic matrix composite. So the matrix powder is one thing that will remain. The other two things, that is the carrier medium and the binder, has to go during the process. So in this particular point, second point on your screen, the liquid carrier is allowed to evaporate. So the carrier will be later on when the, we can say, we have already passed the reinforcement through the liquid slurry and we have been able to get our pre-preg or the preform, we would allow the carrier to evaporate. The resulting pre-preg, as I have already told, the resulting pre-preg can then be laid up onto a tool for consolidation. So depending upon the final shape that we want, we will design a tool, and on that tool we will use these prepreg that we have got. Now what is a prepreg basically? Because this is a new term that is coming in this particular module. Otherwise prepregging we have already seen in our lecture on in polymer matrix composite. In that particular module we have seen what is prepregging. So prepregging has already been discussed, but since it is coming in this particular lecture, prepreg basically is now a combination of the fibrous reinforcement and the slurry which has been carried by the fibrous reinforcement. So the two things have combined together, the fibers and the liquid slurry. The slurry and the fibers, when they have combined together, they have solidified, it is called a prepreg. Now this particular prepreg would be further used for making the ceramic matrix composite product. So important point is that we should understand what is a prepreg. So the resulting prepreg can then be laid up. Laid up means we can stack up one layer on top of another layer, another on top of another layer, and on top of another layer. Depending upon the thickness that we want for the ceramic matrix composite product, we will lay up adequate number of layers of prepregs, and we will design a tool depending upon the final shape of the product that we want. The organic binder must be burned out before starting the consolidation. So the second point is clear, that the liquid carrier has already evaporated. The binder also must be, we can say, removed. So the binder must be burned out before starting the consolidation process. So only now after the burning out of the binder, the things that would remain would be the matrix powder and the reinforcing fiber. So we have a matrix powder and the reinforcing fiber, and these we will consolidate and we will get our final product. So now let us try to understand this particular phenomenon, this particular process with the help of a very simple diagram. So on your screen you can see this is, we can say, the fibers. The fibers are coming. This is not an individual fiber, this is, we can say, a bundle of fibers or a network of fibers or a layer of fiber that is coming. Now this is our slurry tank. So we already know that what is there in the slurry tank. There is a matrix powder, a binder and a carrier medium. So this is our slurry tank, we can say it is filled up to this point. This is a slurry tank, and from the slurry tank now this impregnated fiber network is coming. And we get a layer, and this layer we can call as the prepreg. So what is basically a prepreg? A prepreg basically is a combination of the reinforcement. So this is fibers we have written, this is acting as a reinforcement, and this particular, we can say, a slurry is acting as a matrix. So we have a reinforcement in the form of fibers, we have a matrix in the form of slurry, and when these fibers get impregnated through this slurry tank and they take up, we can use a take up drum. This can be called as take up drum. So we have a take up drum. So this will, prepreg will get wound over the take up drum. So basically the process is very simple. We have a we can have a layer of fibers that is coming. These layer of fibers can be made up of any material. The fibers can be of any material depending upon the type of the composite, that these can be ceramic fibers also. So these fibers are coming, the fibers are getting impregnated in the slurry tank, and after getting impregnated they are taken up by the take up drum. From the take up drum we take them and we make a different layer. So we have got one prepreg layer, we can stack up different layers together and we can consolidate them. We can take different layers and then we can consolidate them layer by layer into, we can say, a composite material. So basically when we consolidate, we can make a different layers together and finally we can apply the pressure. This is suppose our composite material, and when we apply the pressure on this part, we will be able to generate a composite material. So this particular process is called hot pressing. And at this stage we have the binder burnout, which I have already told, and this we can say this is the stacking of layers, and this is a individual prepreg that we have already seen. This is a prepreg. So again let us see what is the process like. In this we have fibers which act as the reinforcing phase. The fibers move and they are impregnated by the slurry which is kept in the slurry tank. The ingredients of the slurry all of us know now. After getting impregnated, the fibers and the matrix, it forms a prepreg and it is taken up by the take up drum. From the take up drum we take out the prepreg and we cut it into the desired size, that is the length and the breadth. So desired size is cut or the tapes are made of desired size, and once the desired size tapes are made, they are stacked up depending upon the final thickness of the product, and once they are stacked up, the binder burnout takes place, the binder has to be removed, and finally the hot pressing is done to consolidate the ceramic matrix composite product. So this is the simple process of slurry impregnation for making the ceramic matrix composite. So let us see a diagram for this particular process. So before going to the diagram, let us see that what are the important processing stages. So slurry impregnation process involves two main stages as we have seen in the diagram. Stage 1, the incorporation of the reinforcing phase into a slurry of the consolidated matrix. So basically we have to combine the two things together, that is the reinforcing phase and the matrix phase. So in the initial 2-3 steps, when the fibers are coming and getting impregnated in the slurry tank, and then this combination of reinforcing phase and the slurry are taken by the take up roll and a prepreg is formed, that is the stage 1 in which the incorporation of the reinforcing phase into the slurry of consolidated matrix is taking place. And after that, when we are cutting the prepreg depending upon the final dimensions of our product, we are stacking up the different layers, and finally the hot pressing is done. That falls under the stage 2, that is the matrix consolidation by hot pressing. So we are cutting the prepreg, stacking up the different layers of the prepregs together, and finally doing the hot pressing. So that is the stage 2. Now let us again see which are these stage 1 and stage 2 with the help of a diagram. On your screen you can see this diagram, already I have drawn just a revision of the slurry impregnation process. These are the fibers, this is the supply spool through which the fibers are coming, this is a slurry tank which contains the matrix powder, the binder as well as the carrier medium. So we have a slurry tank. Through this slurry tank, prepregs are formed which are taken up by the take up drum or the take up roll. So here we have formed the prepregs, and these prepregs are now taken and the cutting of the tapes takes place. Different tapes are cut depending upon the desired thickness of the final product, and finally stacking of the tapes takes place. Different layers are stacked up together. Finally the binder burnout, the binder is removed, and the last process is the hot pressing. This is the composite that we are forming, that is the hot pressing of the composite layers. So basically we are now forming a ceramic matrix composite. So here we are having the fibers and the matrix powder, it has been combined together to make a composite material. So this is a, we can say, important process for processing of ceramic matrix composite materials. So each process will have certain limitation and certain advantages. So now we will try to see that what are the important advantages and limitations of the slurry impregnation process. By now we have understood that what are the basic process details of the slurry impregnation process. What is the reinforcing phase, what is the matrix phase, how the matrix phase is incorporated with the reinforcing phase, what are the important steps that have to be followed in order to make a ceramic matrix composites by the slurry impregnation process. All that we have already seen. Now let us see that what are the important advantages and limitations. So on your screen you can see the advantages of the process. First is, in this particular case we will get low porosity. So in other cases that we have already seen, the processes which we have already discussed, that is, the first process that we have seen was the powder processing, the second process was CVI process. So in those cases, in certain cases we get high values of porosity, but in this particular case, because of the pressing and because of the solid reinforcement or the fibrous reinforcement, we are getting low porosity, because continuous fibers can be used as reinforcing agents in this particular process, which was not possible in some of the earlier process like powder processing. One of the important points was that we can use a discontinuous type of reinforcement, whereas in case of slurry impregnation we can use continuous type of reinforcement or continuous fiber reinforcement. That is one of the reasons that we get low porosity in case of ceramic matrix composites formed by the slurry impregnation process. Then the mechanical properties would be good. Why? Because already we have discussed that we are using continuous fiber reinforcement, and when we have continuous fibers in the reinforcement, the mechanical properties would be better as compared to the discontinuously reinforced matrix material. Third important advantage is the composites with uniform fiber distribution can be processed, because a continuous well arranged network of fibers is being used as the reinforcement. Therefore, the uniform fiber distribution can be processed. If we use the discontinuous fibers as the reinforcement, in many cases we may not be able to get the uniform distribution of the fibers, which may in many cases lead to failure of the components. So in this particular case, since continuous fibers we are using, therefore the uniform fiber distribution is one of the advantages that we can achieve. Now let us see what can be the disadvantages of the process. One of the major disadvantage on your screen you can see, high melting point matrix materials cannot be processed, because you can see the matrix in this case is in the slurry. So we need to increase the temperature to a higher level in order to formulate that slurry also. So the high melting point matrix material cannot be processed. That is one disadvantage. Damage of reinforcing phase occurs during hot pressing. So when we are applying the pressure, if you remember in the previous slide we have seen that the carrier has already evaporated, the binder has been burned out, and now we are pressing the ceramic powder, that is the matrix powder, and the reinforcing phase together in the hot pressing stage. So there are chances that the damage of the reinforcing phase may take place during the hot pressing, or in other words, in the example that we have taken, the damage of the fibers may take place, because we have taken the example of the fibers as the reinforcing phase. So the damage of the fibers may take place during the hot pressing. Next point on your screen is the relatively small and simple parts can be fabricated. So you can see the last stage of the processing technique is the hot pressing, and hot pressing, in order to get a uniform pressure, we need to design the products or design the parts which are made by slurry impregnation process, which are simpler in nature. So if the parts are very complex or the parts are of very large size, then the pressure requirements would also increase for large sized parts. So relatively small and simple parts can be fabricated using this particular process. So basically we can see that there are many advantages of the process, but there are certain limitations also which have to be overcome in order to make this process more versatile and more applicable, specifically in case of ceramic matrix composites. So till now let us see what we have covered. We have just taken an introduction of today's lecture. Then we have seen one of the important processing techniques which is used for ceramic matrix composites, that is slurry impregnation. And in slurry impregnation we have tried to understand the fundamental aspects. We have seen that what is a slurry, what are the important constituents of the slurry, and then with the help of a diagram we have tried to understand the process details, that how the process actually takes place. I have drawn a diagram, and in that we have seen that what are the important stages of the process of slurry impregnation. Now we will see the second process, that is liquid infiltration, and try to understand that what are the process details in liquid infiltration. As I have already told, if you remember in today's lecture itself, that liquid infiltration is quite similar to the resin transfer molding process that is used for processing of polymer matrix composite. So the basic principle is same, but the materials that we are processing is different. Let us now try to see the process of liquid infiltration. So in liquid infiltration we will try to understand it with the help of a diagram, but the major issues that are involved in liquid infiltration are, first one is the chemical reactivity. We will try to understand this, what do we mean by chemical reactivity, but let me first outline all the important points. Second is the melt viscosity, and the last is the wettability of the reinforcement. If you remember, in the slurry impregnation process we have seen that sometimes wetting agents are also added in order to improve the interfacial properties of the reinforcement and the matrix. So basically important point to note here is the issues involved in liquid infiltration process. Now let us address these issues one by one. So the first issue is of the chemical reactivity. So the chemical reactivity means, as we will see, that this is done at a elevated temperature, the process temperature is higher, or the process is done at an elevated temperature. So that at that particular temperature there are chances that the reinforcing phase and the matrix phase may react, and there can be some unnecessary reaction that may take place, which may not result into the proper bonding of the reinforcement and the matrix, and may lead to the failure of the product made by this particular process. So one important point is the chemical reactivity between the reinforcing phase and the matrix phase at the elevated temperature. Second point is the melt viscosity. So we will see the melt viscosity of ceramics is quite high as compared to that of metals, and therefore it may so happen that the ceramic infiltrant may not be able to properly make a matrix inside the fibrous preform or the ceramic preform. So in this particular case also we will have a preform, and the liquid matrix would try to impregnate or would be forced to impregnate the preform, but because of a very high melt viscosity there are chances that the problems may arise. And the last point is the wettability of the reinforcement. In many cases the infiltrant may not be able to properly wet the reinforcement. When the infiltrant is not able to wet the reinforcement, the bonding between the reinforcing phase and the matrix may not be proper and may lead to the failure of the product at the interface of the reinforcement and the matrix. So these are the three important points that have to be taken into account, that is the chemical reactivity between the two phases, melt viscosity of the infiltrant, and the wettability of the reinforcement, that certain times we may be required to add certain wetting agents also in order to improve the wettability of the reinforcement. Now let us try to understand this particular process with the help of a simple diagram. The process is very simple. On your screen you can see there are heating coils which are used to generate the heat. This is one heating coil, then we have another heating coil. These are the two heating coils, and inside we have kept a preform. This is a preform. We have the heating coils, and then we have a infiltrant. This is the passage through which the infiltrant will come. Now we have to apply the pressure also, so that this infiltrant flows into the preform. Now for that purpose we have a piston. So this piston will apply the pressure. So we have a closed chamber in which the reaction is taking place. And here we have, this is our, the thing I am drawing here is our liquid infiltrant. So this is a liquid infiltrant. These are the two guides, we can say. So the liquid infiltrant, when the pressure is applied on the piston, the liquid infiltrant would be pressed and it would go, and this is our, we can say, preform of fibers or network of fibers. And in this particular network, the, we can say, the infiltrant will come. Let me write, this is our infiltrant. The infiltrant will come and it will fill the gaps inside the, we can say, on your screen you can see, it will fill the gap all around the fibers, and it will, we can say, form a matrix phase. So basically what is happening, we have an infiltrant which is a liquid, and then we have a reinforcement which is in the form of a network of fibers, and when the pressure is applied, this infiltrant infiltrates into the preform, and in this particular preform it occupies the spaces which are there between the fibers and forms the matrix phase. So basically in all the processes that we are using for making of polymer composites or ceramic composites or any form of a composite material, our major aim is to combine the reinforcement and the fibers together. So here the reinforcement is in the form of a preform which is kept on your screen, you can see the reinforcement, this is the reinforcement, and the matrix is the infiltrant. So we have a reinforcement, the matrix in the liquid form, it is pressed from with the help of the piston. The piston presses the infiltrant into the preform and it occupies the vacant spaces inside the preform and acts as the matrix phase. So this is a simple process, but it has also got certain advantages and disadvantages that we are going to see now. Let us first try to understand this with the help of a diagram. On your screen you can see a very simple diagram as I have already drawn. We have a piston, a pressure is applied on the piston, this is the infiltrant, with the help of this arrow it has been shown, infiltrant. Now this particular infiltrant, when the pressure would be applied on the piston, this infiltrant would travel and fill the preform. So preform is basically a network or an array of fibers which has been made together depending upon the design of the final product, and this particular process is called the liquid infiltration process. So the process is fairly simple, and here we have the two red columns indicate the heating coils. The process takes place at elevated temperature. Now let us try to understand that what are the advantages of liquid infiltration process. So the major advantage is the matrix of homogeneous structure can be processed. So if we have seen in the previous process that the matrix powder was combined with the carrier medium, it was combined with the binder, but in this particular case a matrix of homogeneous structure can be processed. The matrix can be formed in a single processing step. In previous example or previous process we have seen, that is slurry impregnation, there are number of steps involved, but in this particular case the matrix can be formed in a single processing step. Another advantage is the fiber preform in any form. Here we can use a preform in the form of fiber, viscose or particle can be infiltrated by this process. Whereas in our previous process that we have covered today, that is slurry impregnation, we have seen that continuous fiber reinforcement is used. But here the fiber preform can be in the form of fibers, short, long, viscose or particles, and that can be infiltrated through the matrix material. Now, what are the disadvantages? The disadvantages are the infiltration of preforms is complicated task, as the ceramics have high melt viscosities than metal. Already I have told in the introductory slide to this particular process that chemical reactivity, melt viscosity, these are important issues that have to be looked into. So, that is important point. One of the disadvantage that the melt viscosities of ceramics are higher as compared to that for metal. So, the infiltration of preforms is sometimes complicated. The differential shrinkage between the matrix and the reinforcing phase causes crack propagation during solidification. So, the shrinkage would be different. There are two phases now, and you have seen in the diagram there are heating coils. So, the process is taking place at an elevated temperature, and when the shrinkage would take place between the matrix and the reinforcing phase, there are chances that the cracks may be formed, and important point is to properly optimize the process so that the crack formation is nullified or minimized. Last point on your screen, you can see high melting points of ceramics results in greater possibility of reaction between the liquid matrix and the reinforcement, which was also an important point in the very first slide, that is the introductory slide for this particular process, that is the reaction, chemical reactivity. So, the high melting points of ceramics, we can see the reinforcing phase is a, we can say, a preform. The preform is made up of fibers, but basically the matrix is a ceramic matrix and it is in the liquid state. So, we can say the very high temperature is required to melt the ceramic material. So, the high melting point of the ceramic, that is the matrix material. Basically, we are combining the two things together, the matrix and the reinforcement. The reinforcement has been kept in the form of the preform. So, we are not melting the reinforcement, but we are basically melting the matrix. So, the matrix is a ceramic matrix. So, when we are melting a ceramic, all of us know that ceramics have high melting point. So, the high melting point of the ceramics results in greater possibility of reaction between the liquid matrix and the reinforcement. So, that reaction sometimes may not be advantageous and may act as a disadvantage in the processing of ceramic matrix composite. So, basically we have seen that the process details are fairly simple, but there are many control parameters that have to be kept in mind, and the process has to be controlled properly so that we are able to fabricate a good quality ceramic matrix composite product using the processes that we have covered today. Both the processes, the process details or the process mechanism are not very complicated, but there are important parameters that have to be controlled in order to make these processes applicable for a specific set of ceramic matrix composite materials. So, with this we come to the end of today's discussion on processing of ceramic matrix composites. Just to have an overview of what we have covered today, we have seen the introduction of what has already been covered in this particular module. This particular module focuses on processing of ceramic matrix composites. In our previous discussions, what we have discussed, that was revised. Then we have seen two important processes, that is the slurry impregnation and the liquid infiltration. So, we have tried to understand with the help of the diagrams that how the process takes place, and we have tried to highlight that what are the important advantages and limitations of both the processes. In our last lecture in this particular module, our focus would be to understand or discuss some more processes which are used for processing of ceramic matrix composites, and we would end the module with a discussion on the post processing aspects of the ceramic matrix composites. Thank you.